My topic is argument structure in Pahari, a syntactic analysis. The Pahari language is one of South Asia's oldest languages. It was once a very prominent language sponsored by Harappan civilization's Buddhist dynasty. Pahari was written in the Sharda script during the time, which was called after the city where the university was founded. Pahari derives its name from Pahar, which means hills and mountains, and refers to a number of distinct dialects, some of which may constitute language in their own right. It belongs to the Indo-Aryan language family, which is a subset of Indo-European languages. The Pahari community is defined by their language rather than their geographical origins. Pahari languages are spoken in the lower Himalayan mountains from Nepal in the east to Muri in Pakistan to the Indian states of Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, and Jammu and Kashmir. The current study focused on the Batamaji dialect of Pahari, which is spoken in Karna village in the district of Kupwara. Argument structure. Argument structure typically indicates the number of arguments a lexical item takes, their syntactic expression, and their semantic relation to this lexical item. The elements that are required in a sentence are also determined by the argument structure of a verb. Thus, the configuration of arguments a verb takes is in turn referred to as argument structure. In semantics, an argument is the entity about which a predication is made. In syntax, an argument is a constituent, a noun phrase, or an adpositional phrase that's required by another constituent. The arguments are the participants minimally involved in the activity or state expressed by the predicate. Syntactic versus semantic argument. On the syntactic side, argument structure represents the minimal information needed to characterize the syntactic dependence of an argument-taking head. From this point of view, it appears as a type of syntactic subcategorization or valence register. Thus, argument structure is an interface between the semantics and syntax of predicators, which we may take to be verbs in the general case. Its function is to link lexical semantics to syntactic structures. Lexical semantics gives a structure and then the syntactic structure. Internal versus external argument. The internal argument of a verb that must be realized inside the maximal projection of that verb. Each verb may have one or more internal argument. The external argument of a predicate X is the argument which is not contained in the maximal projection of X. This is the subject of the predicate. Valency. Valency is the number of arguments determined by a predicate in linguistics, with content verbs being typical predicates. Subcategorization and transitivity, which count only object arguments, are related but not identical to valency. Like the argument structure of predicate, valency counts all arguments including the subject. Methodology. For the current study, a questionnaire consisting of word list and sentence list was prepared. The data was elicited from native Pahari speakers of Karna, district Kupwara by direct questioning. The data thus collected was put to rigorous syntactic analysis. Argument structure in Pahari. This paper deals with syntactic arguments which are subjected to various syntactic functions. The syntactic valency of a verb is the property that determines how many syntactic arguments the verb takes. The argument structure of Pahari is explained through various examples below. For verb intransitive, we have kutta ponkia, the dog barked, and its argument structure can be represented as for the intransitive verb ponk, it takes only one argument, that is the subject argument kutta. Gadra roya, the boy cried, and the argument structure can be shown as for the intransitive verb roya, the verb takes only one argument, that is the subject argument gadra. Gadri hasti assi, the girl laughed. Argument structure can be shown as for the intransitive verb hasdi assi, it takes only one argument, that is the subject argument gadri. From the above data, it's clear that no NP complement is allowed in the VPs where intransitive verb is ahead. Now we have the verb transitive. We have a sentence, Rahmat sun ek nazm likhi, Rahmat wrote a poem. Argument structure can be shown as the transitive verb likhi takes two arguments, one as the subject argument rahmat son and another as the object argument ik nazm. Mary सुन बच्चे को सीने ना लाया. Mary hugged the baby. Argument structure can be shown as for the transitive verb सीने ना लाया. It takes two arguments, one as the subject argument Mary सुन and another as the object argument बच्चे को. Then is the third sentence. Rahmat sun kande ko rang kita. Rahim painted the wall. Argument structure can be shown as the transitive verb rang kita takes two arguments. Rahim sun and kande ko. Rahim is the subject argument and kande ko the object argument. In Pahari, if VP has a transitive verb, it requires one NP. Direct object, the verb takes an NP complement. Then the verb right transitive. Danish soon master ko tofa ditta. Here Danish gave the teacher a present. Argument structure, the verb ditta takes three arguments. Subject argument and direct object and indirect object. Subject argument as the Danish sun and the direct and indirect arguments are master ko tofa. Mary John वास्ते केक बना दिए. Mary is baking a cake for John. Argument structure can be shown as the ditransitive verb bana di takes three arguments. Subject argument Mary, a direct argument cake, and indirect argument John. Mary sund ball Paul dar sati. Mary passed the ball to Paul. Argument structure can be shown as the ditransitive verb satya means past takes three arguments. Subject argument Mary soon and the direct and indirect arguments is ball and Paul dar. In Pahari, in case of ditransitive, the verb demands two NPs or an NP and PP. Conclusion. Argument structure defines for itself so pivotal a locus in the organization of language that its influence is felt broadly. Because it impinges on so many linguistic domains, it attracts the attention of diverse researchers in language and cognition who bring to topic a variety of distinct concepts, methods, models, questions, and theoretical preoccupations. Pahari is a head-final language. It has SOV word order. Since SOV language has a strong tendency to use postposition rather than preposition, Pahari follows the same pattern. Argument structure of a verb also determines the elements which are obligatory in sentence. In Pahari, if VP has a transitive verb, it requires one NP. Direct object, the VP takes NP complement. In case of ditransitive, the verb demands two NPs or an NP and a PP, whereas no NP complement is allowed in the VPs where intransitive verb is ahead. The above analysis is done based on valency. The subject of VP has been treated as an argument. Thank you.
Just a quick question to understand the ditransitive constructions in this language. I assume that you are familiar with the different kinds of ditransitives that we have. Conventionally, we know it as, there is this double object constructions and the prepositional dative constructions, right? When I say I gave a pen to John, so that is going to go into the prepositional domain, and then when I say I gave John a pen, then it's going to be a double object construction. So can you sort of shed some light on that? Could you think about whether these two are two different constructions in your language, or maybe you need to think about it from the presence of a preposition, and the other one is going to be, let's say, just a case marker. It's not really a preposition in that sense. Can you think about it?
Ma'am, actually,
DOC, that's what you need to keep in mind.
Ma'am, Pahari is not my native language.
Okay, I see. All right. Yes.
So the data
during the data collection process, if you have ever come across.
Yes, ma'am. From the data, we have seen that there are both these sentences we have seen. We have some constructions where we can take NP after the verb, and some constructions there is NP and PP.
PP, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that means you have both the constructions available in this one. And what is the if we let's think about a conventional ditransitive verb like give. So when you have give or ask, or if you have a locative argument like keep or put. So in these ones, so what are the case markers and what are the preposition? Not the preposition, in fact, in our languages it's going to be postposition. So what are the different postpositions that you have in Pahari? Okay, maybe we can think about it later, because since you are working on the argument structures and then the valency, the discussion on valency would definitely be more interesting if you have constructions like this.
Ma'am,
Okay.
please can you repeat this question? I would like to hear it again.
The question is, what are the different case markers and the postpositions that you have in the traditional ditransitive constructions in this language? Let's say ask or give, or let's say put. I put the bag on the table. So on the table, even if it's a locative argument, it's still an argument. Thank you, Samreena.